Hello everyone, welcome back to Canimando. Today I'm analyzing another trailer. This time it's gonna be the Croods 2. I watched the first one and I loved it, so really looking forward to this one. But meanwhile, let's analyze the trailer.
My name's Eep.
Big stuff.
It's news.
And we're the world's first.
Just one thing I noticed here.
Big stuff.
First thing I like here is just like,
Big stuff.
see how the accent on
Big stuff.
make it stop,
Big stuff.
make it stop, the accent on the head, but also with the hand, you can see that it is hitting the accent. So
Big stuff.
make it stop, make it stop. So with the wrist, with the hand, it's hitting, it's accentuating the syllables. So make it stop.
Big stuff.
See?
Big stuff.
So it's not just randomly shaking the hand, but it actually accentuates the syllables of the words.
Big stuff.
It's news.
And we're the world's first family, the Croods.
Oh, another glorious morning.
Great this. So he's lifting up. See how he's not lifting just like straight up, but you can see how pushes up, then the torso starts to move back, the head rotates forward a little bit, so you have that overlap, and then the head rotates up, so it's all overlapped. So up, da 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 da, he gets it up, and see how when the tiger starts to step on him, see how first we can see the hair reacting to the feet. So first we can see the hair reacting to the foot, and then first frame where the head starts to move down, see the reaction on the shoulders as well. It's not just the head, but the shoulders and a bit of the torso. Then the second one, it's moving more. You can see he starts to change the expression, like he starts to open the mouth. See how the feet start to come up, making the like the lever, and boom. See how, because he's tense that he's gonna be stepped on, the body is tense, so all the body is gonna be rigid. That's why they didn't animate an overlap on the legs, just moving up like overlapped. They move up really rigid because there is tension on his body, so everything is rigid, so the legs come up very rigidly. And see how the face changes here, and boom, see the spacing here. So 1 2, you have 1 2 3, boom, the big spacing, and then 1 2 3 4. About 4 frames of easing into the squash of the pose and everything. See how the squash happening, and see how the feet start to lift up. The feet start to lift up, and great. And see also the legs, how when the tension has gone because he has already been stepped on. Notice how the legs now they move back with overlap. See?
Morning.
And then one leg and the other one. Overlapped. Great.
Dad always says the pack.
This is great as well. So notice how all the kangaroos just are moving up overlapped, but it's not just like one after the other one. There is a rhythm. So for example,
Dad always said
you have that 1 2. So first 2 kangaroos, then there is no one coming up, and then 1 2 3, and then 1 2, and the last one moves higher than this one. So you have that variation, and then as the last one finishes to come up, all the rest of the kangaroos start to look to the left, and then he moves to the left, and then he looks to the left. So see how everything is overlapped, although it seems like sometimes it's almost happening at the same time, but you see how there is rhythm, there is overlap, there is variation in the timing.
Dad always says the pack stays together.
That's my girl.
This one is great. It's really subtle, but notice how when they fist bump, notice how, okay, that's the size of the fist, fine, and then notice how the fist gets smaller here. They did that so that in this one the fist get bigger. That why they did that, because when you have the fist impacting something, many times you want to have that shaky motion to transmit the vibration, to transmit the energy dissipating around the object, around the body. So if you animate a vibration, sometimes it's gonna be jerky, it's not gonna be look good. So what many times animators do is scale the fist. So you just scale the fist, like pop scaling the fist in one frame, and then over 2 frames more or less, the fist goes back to the original size. So you have that wave, that motion where the fist gets bigger and smaller, and it feels like a vibration. See? So you can feel more powerfully the impact. And notice how it's not just the fist getting bigger, but notice how when they hit each other, notice how boom, notice how the flow of energy, how it goes throughout the forearm upwards. Here is more evident. So noticing the girl, boom, see how the energy flows up the forearm. That's done in Polish probably with the bembos. So just bend the arm a little bit frame by frame so that it feels like a wave. It's not complicated to do, but it adds a lot to the animation because we can feel the energy dissipating. We can feel the energy moving throughout the body. See?
Now we're searching for a perfect place to call home.
What the heck is that?
It's the end of the world.
Well, that's it for me. I'm glad it's you, Chunky.
I love this one as well. Notice how when she's about to turn around, well, it's not like turning around and throwing the stick, but it's so as she turns around, she's actually doing the anticipation to throw the stick. So see how she turns around, she leads with the head. Notice how the back foot starts to get ready to make the step. Boom. So the anticipation and forward, making an arc, and then so the head leads, looking at the tiger, and see how the arm it still have quite a few frames to get to the extreme, and then throws the stick. So it's really, really.
Well, that's it for me. I'm glad it's you, Chunky.
And great. Notice the line of action. So they're gonna hold this pose for a few frames.
I'm glad it's you.
So when you wanna hold a pose for a few frames or a few seconds, make sure that the pose is the most appealing possible. So good lines of actions, good silhouettes, good everything. So for example, look at the line of action flowing through the arm, the body, the leg. Notice this beautiful line of action. So that adds a lot to the animation. Also look at the back arm. Sometimes it gets in front of the dress, but notice how most of the time it's not in front of her, but it's actually leaving an empty space, a negative space between her and the arm. So we can see all the parts of the body. We can see clearly the silhouette.
I'm glad it's you, Chunky.
And the accent.
Glad it's you, Chunky.
I'm glad it's you, Chunky. I'm glad you.
I'm glad it's you, Chunky.
It's not a big accent, but you see the accent on the head.
Glad it's you, Chunky.
And beautiful how she gets into the mouth, just like boom, steps in and boom. And what I love the most is how she closes the mouth like, I'm going in, just let me sleep or whatever. and how the tiger reacts, like ooh, the anticipation. So the head of the tiger rotates up, anticipating what she's gonna do, even though he's not anticipating that. But as he rotates the head up, it serves as an anticipation for her to boom, close it abruptly. So many times, just try to find a way to create variation. So if you want to have a big movement, for example, this one, when she's closing his mouth, like boom, like she's closing the door, like she's going in a cave, having the tiger just rotate the head up just a tiny bit, so it creates a contrast, like up and down.
Chunky. Chunky.
This one is all, just wanted to point out, look at all the reactions. So you have that all looking normal, oh, and squash, look how the eyebrows go down, the eyes squint, the mouth goes up and closes a bit, and then wow, wow, like about 3 frames, wow, wow. Same with the girl, wow. Notice the squash and wow. Notice that she has more of a settle, of a recoil on the mouth. So see how she squashes. So squash, 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 and then the eyebrows start to lead. See how the eyebrows lead, and the mouth start to open. The eyes still closing a bit, and then over 1 frame, boom, the reaction. So 2 frames of reaction, and then you can see how the cheeks and the middle part of the face start to recoil back. So you have that settle back, and then the mouth. So even the settle is overlapped. It's not just like stretch and squash, but it's stretch and squash all overlapped. See, it's really subtle. Same with the other characters. See how, whoa, down. So for example here, down squash, up stretch and settle. Down squash, up stretch and settle.
Isn't it strange how this food grows in perfectly straight...
Genius.
I thought
This one is great as well. Notice how we can feel the overlap on the fingers, even though there is not enough frames to to actually animate the overlap. But you can see just by making boom, just by making this pose here, just having all the fingers just in a wave-like pose, it's enough for the audience to feel like they all step overlapped. Because over 1 frame, all the fingers just hit the flip-flop. So they don't actually animate all the overlap, but as the notice how the fingers are dragging back, and then boom, and you have 1 more frame of settle where all the fingers finish to get into the pose. So you just have 2 frames, and that's enough to feel the overlap. But the most important thing is that pose, where we can see that the little finger is already touching the flip-flop, and there is a bigger movement left to do for the other fingers. So that's enough for the audience to perceive that it's gonna be overlap, because they already see where each part is before the overlap is supposed to happen. And then over 1 frame, 2 frames, boom, great.
I thought cave people died off years ago.
We happy meet you. Thanks.
Notice how thanks. It's not like
Thanks.
probably like the animator could had animated this in many ways, like thanks, like thanks, like thanks, like many facial expressions. But they chose this maybe because the director told them. But thanks. You see the disgust, like,
Thanks.
thanks, like, what's wrong with these people? Like, thanks. So we can, so for same words, we can transmit many different emotions. So that's why it's important to make sure that you know what exact emotion is going through the characters. And notice how when he claps also, boom. Notice how the father reacts first. The body starts to move. Notice how obviously the people that are touching his body are actually moving as well because he's moving. But notice how the rest of the people are not reacting yet. And then the second one, the father keeps reacting. And then the grandma also is already squashing the face. And some of them are already moving more. And then, ooh, all of them start to react. So you see how the movement is overlapped between all the characters. It's not like all the characters are reacting at the same time, but there's overlap in the reactions.
Thanks.
Oh. We are the Bettermans.
Better man?
Emphasis on the better.
Is that your home?
Kind of big, isn't it?
A small thing here, just notice the tiger, how when he's gonna go up, he's looking at the elevator, and see how as he's looking up, he starts to anticipate down. So the head is still rotating up, but he's anticipating down and a bit forward. So he's getting ready to anticipate and move up. Boom. And also notice how it's not moving up in a straight line, but it actually moves to the left a little bit and then to the right. So you have that visual arc created on the screen. It's not just straight up, but you have that small arc. So I don't know if you see it, but see how the face moves to the left and then to the right. Ooh.
Hey, girl.
There's a small detail here that I wanted to point out. So notice how, hey girl, so hey girl, and when she starts to go down, notice the inertia, notice how the head stretches a little bit, how the eyebrows raise, how the eyes open. So you have that drag happening in all the face, even though it's just for a couple of frames and then all settles back. But that drag on the face, that eyebrows going up, the head stretching a little bit, it adds fluidity to the animation because it feels more organic. Even though in reality maybe we wouldn't do that, but having that extra overlap, extra drag, extra squash and stretch in the character, it always adds appeal to the animation. So you can see how the eyes drag and then boom, how the eyebrows go down as a settle. See?
Hey, girl.
Another teenage girl.
Yeah?
A girl.
Friend! I've never had a girlfriend before.
It's great. Notice the reactions of all of them. So these ones here are like, oh, funny, haha. And just this one is just trying to not get hit. But the parents are actually scared, like, oh my god. Notice the father anticipating up with the shoulders and ah. The mother as well anticipating up with the shoulders and the body and ah, oh my god. Then looking, oh my god, trying to doing the gestures of trying to stop her. So even though the point of attention is on here, because the most movement is happening here, and I don't think no one is going to look at these characters, but you always have to think about the secondary characters, because otherwise if someone looks at those characters or whatever, it's gonna feel weird that they are just standing there like they don't care. So just always think how the characters should react.
Never had a girlfriend before. What do we do?
What's happening to our voices? What's getting on? I don't know if cave people belong in a modern world.
What's your problem, big guy? This place is changing everyone.
Guy?
And we really need to limit Thunk's window time.
Not now, Douglas. The birds are on.
In my day, we didn't...
That's great. No, you know how when the character is, the attention is to one side or the other side of the screen, the face is gonna open to the side that he's pointing the attention. So the eyebrows are gonna point up or down, and the mouth as well. So in this case, the pet is, as the crocopet, crocodog, is trying to play with him, but he's actually paying attention to the window, to the outside. We could say the left side of the screen, as his head is a bit rotated. So even though he's talking to that character, his attention is to that side. So notice how the mouth is actually moving towards the character and making this line of action. If he was talking, looking at him, probably we want to have the line of action in the opposite direction. So the face is open to that side. The mouth would be pointing down and the eyebrows a bit up. But in this case, it's the opposite, because the point of attention is on this side. So even though he's talking to that character, the face is open to this side. So notice how the eyebrows are more pointing like up to this direction, even though this one he's frowning. So, but you can see how this one is more exaggerated than the other one, and mostly the mouth, how the mouth is obviously pointing down, and the line of action is in this way. So yeah, just make sure that you know where the character's narration is.
Now, Douglas, the birds are on.
In my day, we didn't stare at birds. We fought them.
Let me live my life.
Whoa, what's that? It's just a scar.
Every mark is an adventure.
And my dad.
Just wanted to point out, notice how the hand just gets to the pose. You can see the slowing, but it's not just a simple slowing to the pose. Notice how the rotation of the hand is not slowing in, but actually has an overshoot. So you have, they animated a ease to the pose with the hand, but an overshoot with the rotation. So even though the movement ends fluidly, but the rotation adds that extra fluidity to the animation, because it's not just rotating and that, but rotating and back a little bit.
Is an adventure.
See, it's just the couple last frames, these ones, down and up. That.
Adventure.
And my dad doesn't even know about this one.
Peanut toe.
Great. Notice how the toe and the foot react to to her taking off the peanut. So notice how the foot moves, how the small finger actually stretches as she takes it off and then recalls back. So everything reacts to the movements. Notice how the finger actually rolls. So it's not just hitting the pose, constraining the object and moving, but actually we can feel the pull on the fingers. See? See how the fingers move and react? Whoa.
Peanut toe.
A peanut toe. Peanut toe. Notice how the mouth makes an arc. Peanut toe. So it's not just like peanut toe straight down, but toe. If you can animate an arc with the mouth moving in an arc. So at the end of the pose, she's getting to this line of action. So at the end of the pose, the final pose, it has a fluid line of action, the curved line of action. But so as she has this line of action throughout the animation, what they did was just like, as she says toe, they move back the mouth to the straighter and a straighter line of action, and then back to the curved line of action, and that creates the arc that adds a lot of fluidity to the animation. See?
A toe. A toe. A toe.
Great.
Peanut toe.
You're not allowed outside the wall?
Nope.
This farm is like your cave. You're just like me.
I feel like taking chances.
You see that wall? Yeah. You want to jump in? Yeah. No! We'll be back before anyone knows.
Great here. Just wanted to point out. Notice how the tiger stretches here. Boom! Stretch. And then the back of the body starts to squash a bit again to the original shape. And the legs and the back legs and the front legs catch up. So they are a bit back. And then, woo! Notice how they move forward. So you have that overlap on the body. It's not just all moving together, but they are back and boom, they catch up with the body.
You took Dawn for a joyride. The Bettermans built the wall for a reason. That's not good.
Great. I just wanted to point out. Look how instead of just taking him back, they actually animated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames where they actually moving forward closer to the camera, so we can feel more his face, like his open eye, So, and also you have more of a feel of the pose, like he's getting closer to you, but also you have the contrast. So it's not just like taking him off, but you have that anticipation of like they moving it forward and then taking it back. So you have that variation, that contrast, like boom, boom. So you have the anticipation. They know what's gonna happen. Here the audience knows what's gonna happen, and then they can take him up very fast because they already animated an anticipation, and boom.
The only way to survive is if the pack stays together.
Great here as well. Notice how what I talked about the opening of the face. So notice how the face is open to this side, the eyebrows are pointing up, and the mouth is pointing slightly down. So because his point of attention is on this side, and then as he looks to the other side, boom, the eyebrows change the direction of the angle. So the eyebrows are pointing up to this side as well, and the mouth is not technically pointing down to this side, but you can see how it drastically changed. So in here it is obviously pointing down, but then in this one the mouth kind of see how it reduces the angle. So most of the changes on the eyebrows, but you can see what I meant, right? So the opening of the face is more exaggerated.
In such a dangerous world, I worry about my family too.
What's that?
Kill circle.
This one is awesome. I love it. So he has to move into a pose, right? So into a fight pose, but he's already on a pose. So they could just make him jump and get to the pose, or just squash down, or make an anticipation up and then squash to the pose. But they wanted to do it more dynamic. So instead, he's not anticipating up, he's just squashing down a bit and lifting the arms, getting ready to the pose. But if you watch it, it seems that he's actually moving to the left. He's actually getting ready, but he's not actually moving. What they did just was a camera move, a fast camera move. So the character moves to the left side of the screen, so it feels like he's actually moving, but he's actually staying on place, and you get that beautiful pose. Look at the line of action flowing from the arm to this arm. You have that curved line of action. Beautiful, beautiful. So you can see how there are tricks to make the animation more appealing, but obviously you don't want to do that when you are learning animation. You don't want to experiment that much with camera movements. You want to try to animate it with the character. Try to animate the character, not the camera. But you can see here how you can sometimes add tricks to convey a different thing that what's actually happening. Because it feels awesome, like it's awesome, the animation. But props to the camera movement.
Today is a good day to die!
Hey everyone, you'll never guess what I found out! Sorry, honey. We thought you were a predator trying. Sorry, honey.
Sorry, honey. Notice how they laugh when she laughs. The shoulders go up and the head down, like.
Sorry, honey. We thought you were a predator trying to kill us. No, never apologize for an effective kill circle.
Hold on, stop. You accessorize with a sloth? I accessorize with a sloth. This is built.
Mine's Sash.
Ooh la la!
Well, that was it. That was the animation trailer of The Croods 2. I hope you liked the analysis. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any suggestions, just leave it on the comments. Subscribe, give a thumbs up, and until the next animation analysis.